Howdy, folks, and welcome to DPCast's first ever episode of SpoilerCast. Warning, this may contain spoilers! And we got Paul with us today. Hi, Paul.
Hi, guys.
How are you
Welcome
doing?
to this new thing we're going to be lobbing towards you.
Yeah.
Genuinely, we're quite excited to see how this one goes off, and we'll do plenty more. Our next one in line is to possibly do Logan after this one.
Yeah, although as we record this, Logan is out on Thursday, so that's the day after tomorrow. So Paul and I, we're going to go and give that a little look, see what it's all about.
A little bit of a lucky Lou.
A little bit of Lucky Lou, you know, see what old Logan is up to these days. Wolverine.
Where all the fuss is about.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, so in one of our, was it the first or second episode of the podcast?
I think it was the second episode, to understand.
Yeah, we came up with the idea of, we're thinking, we can't talk about this film without spoiling it. Drat, we need to make another podcast. And hey, SpoilerCast was born. Hi.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome. Sit down. Cross your legs in front of the fire and listen to our SpoilerCast. But I shit you not, if you haven't seen this film and you give us bad jip about it, then fuck you. We have warned you. It contains spoilers. So enjoy. Yes.
It's even in the fucking titles.
Yeah.
Come on now, guys.
Yeah. So get the fuck out. If you haven't seen this film, get out.
Get out of here.
Get out of it. Yeah. So, but for those of you who have seen it, welcome.
And anybody who literally wants to get a hold of us on Twitter, please get a hold of us on DPCasters, capital D, capital P, capital C.
Asters.
And we place a lot of our film news, gaming news. We place a lot of hypothetical questions. Anything that's come up in the news that we feel is necessary. A lot of wrestling elements as well. So if you want to get hold of us, guys, genuinely just go straight on to Twitter, give us a couple of messages, drop us a couple of likes, and we'll be the more happier for it.
Yep. Cool beans. Right, should we get started?
We should do that.
Yes, I think so. Right, yep. And today's film is Arrival. What did you think of the film Arrival, Paul?
Oh, dude, Jenna, this movie is just beautiful. Just inside and out.
Yeah.
Beautifully made, beautifully said.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, as I said, we had to build a spoiler cast for this movie alone, just for the bracket of we had to talk about it more than beyond the couple of minutes we had segmented for it in podcast 2.
We tried to bloody talk about it, but it's like, I can't say that without spoiling it. And then we went on to something else. I can't say that without spoiling it. Because the whole film is just if you say something, it's going to lead to something that's going to spoil it. So, we have to make this. So, yeah. So, Arrival is a film that came out in 2016, last year. I think it's out on Blu-ray now. It's got Amy Adams in it as Louise. It's got Jeremy Renner, our lovely Avenger, as Ian. Forrest Whitaker as Colonel Weber. And Tse Ma as General Shang. Those are just some of the main characters in it. So just because that's probably where we're going to be talking the most about. So let's begin.
Where do you want to start, Dan? Because literally, like this movie, I know obviously you want to start from the start, but this movie just goes in so many different directions all the way through it.
Well, we can spoil the crap out of this now because we've got free reign. Well, even from the start, it gives it away from the start if you listen to it. After watching it the first time, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know. It was just taken as it comes, isn't it?
Yeah.
And to be honest, as the film went on, and then the twist came along, I was thinking, is that it? But then I watched it again, and it totally makes sense. Because it's from the start. The opening line is, I used to think this was the beginning of my story. Memory is a strange thing. It doesn't work like I thought it did. We are so bound by time, by its order. But that gives it away from that's the very first line of the film. And the whole point of the film is that these aliens come down, but they don't perceive time as humans do, which is in a linear form, in a straight line. Whereas we experience something, it becomes memory, and we carry on.
Yeah.
Whereas these aliens see time differently. They can see the future, the past, the present, and they don't see it as we do. So this film, the genius of this film is that it is presented a bit like that, because the twist is the main character, Louise, she's what we think are flashbacks to her daughter. And her daughter becomes ill and she dies. And that's in the first 5 minutes of the
That's
film, and
easy,
it's like Up again. You know, the first few minutes of Up.
it was.
Great! I think we were watching it together. I was like, "Oh, the fuck, she's dead!"
To be quite honest, like I didn't expect that U-turn in the very beginning of it, like where you see and you're like, okay, a child, okay, how is this film going to end out going down that road now? And literally, you see the child then die.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy crap! I mean, god damn, that just took a massive deep turn.
Yeah, and you literally shouted out, didn't you? We were quite silent, and then all of a sudden you see a bald energy. I assume it's cancer of some sort of disease. And you're like, holy crap, she's dead. And I was like, what the fuck?
Oh, totally. Yeah, I did not expect the actual movie to go to literally go in that direction straight off the bat. But obviously then, as the movie then goes further down into the spectrum, close near the end where you sort of see the full circle of what's occurred, then you go, oh, yeah, man, that's this, that's that. That makes sense. Her memories were making a movie of of her own.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's the thing.
And, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's like those things you see, you think, oh, flashbacks. She just had a traumatizing experience in her life, and this is what's occurring afterwards.
Yeah.
But it turns out they're flash forwards. That's the twist, along with another thing.
Yeah.
And, it's just like, hang on. This because the little hints all the way through are like telling you, but
it is,
for a while it's like chucking stones at a brick wall. It's like, fine, okay, fair enough, I doubt you, whatever. But then, hang on, these clues are adding up now. She's seeing into the future. Or, at first I thought, okay, I guessed it, that this is, the flashbacks are actually flash forwards. And I thought it was going to lead up to that. I did not think it was going to be a psychic thing.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I at least run into the first 45, maybe 50 minutes into the movie, I still thought the first couple of opening segments were of an older her, a younger her, that had a child pass. That's why she has kind of like, she had like a zero fucks attitude in the very beginning of the movie. And the way they came across in the movie, I was like, you know what, maybe she's, that's maybe why she's going down to when the ship's dropped and she's gone so straight up with them that you start to realize, maybe this kid has because they never give us anything to deny the factor of they were flash forwards. We just still thought they were memories of a past that she was remembering, and it works so well in that segment because they didn't give us any indication to think otherwise until near the end of the movie where to realise they were flash forwards. And I think the real big clue, I think, to both of us, were when she mentioned who the dad was.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
We were like, we put two and two together, then we were like, oh, wait a minute.
That's right.
That makes total sense.
Yeah, I think it was the point where she's having a flashback with inverted commas. Whatever you call them. And her daughter comes down. What's a word for something where you compromise or something like that, where you both have equal share of something? And she said, oh, compromise? I was like, no, more scientific. Oh, and she said, if you want more scientific, ask your dad. And you can see during the film that she's falling for the character of Ian, which is played by Jeremy Renner. And thinking, hang on, he's a scientist. She seemed really bitter about the scientific side just then. She would not fall for another scientist. She's seeing into the fucking or she's having a flash forward. That's when I figured it out. It was like, we figured it out. It was like, oh, Jesus Christ. It's flash forwards. But I thought it was going to lead up to the events of what she's seeing in the future. I didn't think it was going to be like this, which is she is seeing the future right there and then. Dan, there's another bracket as well that I realised about the movie. Just basically, we're talking there now about the way the flash forwards are working with her, and she goes and denies every factor of, if we had a element of looking into the future right now, it'd be like us going into the future and stepping on a butterfly that could distort the
the future itself, that's when you come back. You could come back to a different time, or go forward into a different time. It's depending which direction you go in a time machine. Now, theoretically, she's doing that, but in a dream-like state. But at the same time as well is that she's still stamping on butterflies. I mean, but in the same light, the butterflies were affecting, like she knew, instead of these butterflies being the devastation that it is, she was counteracting the devastation that occurs in the movie itself, what you see, and she just takes all that away just from a memory in the future. What is bonkers?
Yeah, I think
absolutely bonkers.
Because the aliens are the ones that tell her you can see. It says something. Yeah. What's her name again? Louise sees future. Because and all that, and that's when she realized. I think she's seeing these things, but she doesn't think anything of. She's just thinking these are just bloody weird thoughts, little visions in my head, Because she's seeing them, because you can see her reacting to these things, and she's kind of like looking like she's gone into a world of her own for a second. Then it shows you a flash forward, and it's back, and it's like, huh, what, who? And all the time you think, oh, she's looking back, she's traumatized by the loss of her daughter and all that. But no, it's the future, and she's seeing these things and probably thinking nothing much of it. And it's only when, at the end, near the end, where she meets the aliens by herself, and she said, and the aliens say Louise sees future, that she. And then she sees her daughter again. It's like, who is this child? And that's when she realizes, hang on, she becomes attuned that she has this ability to see the future. So,
and I think it becomes quite apparent as well when when near the end, you can see they got a kind of a love connection, and you. Then have another kind of cut forward, and then she's sort of like, "Where's Daddy?" And she's kind of saying the background of it. Then that Daddy couldn't take the actual truth of what was eventually going to happen, and he was pissed with her that she knew she was going to end up having cancer and die. Yet he should have known about it early stages, so they could have prevented her having the daughter. But she knew she needed her. Yeah,
that's the thing. It kind of makes you think, well, what would you do? Because Ian, the Jeremy Renner's character, it's like I don't know what to feel about it, because he's a nice guy all the way through. You think, I like his character. He's a sweet dude, and he believes that she has because in the end he's seen her in action with this ability, which we'll go into in a bit, and so he must believe her what's coming up. If she told him, look, our daughter's going to die of this disease. When she's quite young, in the early teens, possibly. And it kind of makes you think, what kind of person is this guy? Because if he knows this and he believes her, then he can't look at his daughter the same way again, because he knows it's very heart-wrenching for him.
I think there's two spectrums to this one, dude. I think, I think he's pissed with her that she didn't tell him straight off the bat that she knew what was going to occur with her own daughter.
Yeah.
And I think the truth that came out, what we only seen on the movie, that when the daughter was born, then she comes quite forthful with, hey, I know what's going to happen to our daughter, and she's going to end up passing away.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that's a dick move on her half. She can now see, she's started reading and started learning how to see into the future by this new way of looking at the life scale itself, and or like the memory scale, anyways. And it's to be honest, I think that's a fucking huge dick move on her behalf. I mean, can you imagine how done, right?
But then again, because you kind of see she's toying with the idea at some points. Where should I go ahead with having a child if I know it's going to die? But she's kind of already loved her daughter, because she's kind of already had the memory in the future of her. And she wants to cherish, I think she says she wants to cherish, even if it's a small amount of time, the amount of time that she has with her daughter. And that if that's only for 15 years or whatever, then it's better than nothing, kind of thing.
Yeah, but
if she didn't,
in a nutshell,
if she didn't have it off with Ian, she wouldn't have had the baby. She wouldn't have had the daughter that died, and she wouldn't have been able to experience that for herself.
Yeah, but this still doesn't take away from the bracket that if she didn't have sex with him that obviously occurred to having the child, that wouldn't have happened with another person, and it might have been a perfectly working child beyond the bracket. I mean, she was only going off that only one interpretation of that child that she would have had. Yeah. I think, to be honest, I still put it down to a bit of a dick move. I mean, literally, you think about it now, right? You can imagine being with a partner that can see into the future. You kind of know that by that stage, she's done stuff to show you that is quite truthful what she's stating to you. Yeah. And then you're like, you end up falling in love with her, you end up having a child, and then she tells you, I've seen into the future of our own daughter's life scale, and she passes away at the age of 15. Yeah. And you're like, what? What are you on about? Yeah. I've known this since before I was with you.
Yeah. If you told me this before, I would have had a vasectomy.
Well, it's like that. You maybe wouldn't even gone down that route with it. You might have fallen in love, but you might have not gone down the route of knowing what the future outcome of that child would have become. Because it's not just unfair for the parents itself. It's unfair for the child. Because you think, that child has to go through cancer. Yeah. I think there's a lot of elements here that she's put a child through a lot of pain in the later stages for her own self-being. Yeah. But for just so she could be around her child. Like that child's had to be born, go through stages of being ill massively. Yeah, yeah.
But there's another force that we need to acknowledge here as well. What if, because the aliens tell her that we need you in 3,000 years to help us, which is why they came to Earth to join the continents of the Earth and all that, so that we'd work together and then we'd build ourselves so that we can get to the point in 3,000 years where we at the same level as these aliens, I assume, to help them in whatever's going to happen. They don't say what's going to happen, but they say in 3,000 years we're going to need to help you. What if she needs to have this girl because if she doesn't, it'll affect the outcome of the future? Like you said before, like the butterfly effect. If she doesn't have the child, perhaps the future will go in a totally different way, and they won't be ready in 3,000. Something will happen that will affect where they need to be in 3,000 years.
But does that actually does it to an extent? Because she was already teaching the scale of the it's hard to explain what they were interpreting, because it was just circles of paintings it looked like to us, but they were analogies of words that were described. It's hard to put it in words. It really
is. Their language reflects how they live. They don't see time as a linear thing. Their language is not linear. It's like we say things in sentences. Every language says things in sentences. That wasn't that was a collection. I think it was a collection of words and maybe even sentences into one circle that they can communicate with, but we can't because there's so much information. I think at one point they say they can communicate about 3 months worth of stuff that would take 3 months for us to talk about in just a single few circles, and that from those they can communicate so much quicker and all that because they don't communicate the same way as we do. It
means then they weren't seeing time the way we were, or the way we seen anything the way we were. To be honest, it was what made everything in a different spectrum of light. To be quite honest, and I think the movie went on a really interesting path, because if aliens came down tomorrow and just basically that vice versa to Arrival just stopped and went into 12 different capitals around the earth, what would have, in multiple eyes, would have looked like Independence Day. I mean, it would have literally looked like these things coming over, they're going to invade us, etc., etc.
I think it was the main continents of the world, I think, where there's the main leaderships of the world. I think it was like Independence Day. It was over every capital city, wasn't it? So it was like, Independence Day, the spaceships hovered over every capital city or something like that. It's like, you know what you're going to do. You're going to blow them all up, aren't you? So I think in Arrival, it was over main continents, I think it was. Like, you had America.
Oh, right.
Basically.
Oh, yeah, no, thinking of it. It actually was, wasn't it?
Because their point was they came to Earth to try and join humanity. Because we got so many different leaders, they came to try and join the world so we all work together. Because they want us to succeed together, so that we can help them in 3,000 years. So that's the whole point.
Well, in the same light, I think we would still, in the movie, I think it reacted perfectly to to what a human would react in this circumstance.
Oh, yeah.
Because naturally, it's defying everything the Bible quoted. It's defying everything that any Buddhist, any religion-based bracket would get disintegrated within seconds of these ship-like, alien-like ships that would have dropped and come into these places around the world. But at the same time now, right, is that as them being there, I think the movie really did give a nice little wink at knowing how well we would react to it, and that was dreadful.
I gotta say, yes, that's another thing I like. I love realistic things happening in films, or something that makes it appear realistic. That's one of my favorite things. It's my favorite kind of scary because it makes you feel scared, and it's like, oh fuck, this is tense.
Yeah,
it's like. Even from the start, when the aliens first land, you don't see the fucking spaceship or the kind of pebble thing that they land in. You don't see him at all. You just hear it off news reports in the background. And I love that because you don't see it yet, but you can hear people reacting to it first. And it's like, you're thinking, oh, what the fuck is it? You know, even though I've seen it in the trailer, I know what it looks like, but it's like, it gives it that more intensity, you know? It's like, oh, fuck, I'm feeling a bit scared,
And on top of that as well, like when then they do in them, like the circle paintings of words that they end out breaking down to become sentences, or they could talk back and forth anyways as to at least an element. That took them weeks, months to get to the most simplest, hey, I am Lucy, I am... You know, it got us, and that took them ages to get to the stages. What would have been, because naturally they're talking an alien language, unless they came down and talked English or Taiwanese, whatever the circumstance, whatever language that they could have come down, you know, we would have been able to talk to them if they had any language of this earth.
But this isn't Star Trek where everyone speaks English.
Or
Star Wars.
I think that's a massive flaw in Star Trek.
Yes, if they came out and plonk, hello, we are aliens. Get your shit together. We need you in 3,000 years, so get your shit together. Okay, right, we're off. Ta-ra. That's a short film.
20-minute movie.
Okay, fair enough. I enjoyed that.
But no, it did it really well, like, because we would have taken that long, but then society was taking the same light of it and starting to worry about what are they, how are they, where have they come from, what are they doing, because they've already questioned their sanity of what are they, then they question their beliefs of how can they be. You know, they are then questioning they're going to kill us. Because then it comes around full circle to not that they could be decent, not that they could be helping us, not that they're here and they're starting to learn us a new language and the way to look into the future, that they are going to kill us because we look at a movie elemented scenario to these people, that we look at like aliens. You name an alien movie, you're going to look back to a movie that literally has them either trying to kill somebody, you know. It's, we don't have a really decent light of an alien from a movie's perspective, you know, except for E.T., and even that was quite freaky.
Oh, I tell you what, E.T. still scares the shit out of me today.
Me too.
When he comes out of the bushes at the start, I'm still like cushioning up to my face.
E.T. used to scare the shit out of me as a child.
I used to, like, in bed in the dark, you know, as a kid, and I just imagine his head kind of rising above the level of my bed. I was like, oh my god, it's E.T. Get away.
So to be honest, they done society perfect in this movie, that when they were trying to get shit sorted, society was looting, it was throwing... Well, just basically going against what should not have been, you know. They weren't taking life in the direction that you know, like life's still going on the way it was. They were like, fuck, life's fucked, we're gonna get screwed, we're gonna do this, we're gonna loot.
I'm gonna take a 50-inch plasma TV, why not? And all that shit. I was thinking, I think of the order of things. Oh, go on.
Carry on, go on. The order of things, sorry.
The order of things, I think they're in the middle of trying to communicate with the aliens and to try to decipher the little ring symbols that the aliens print. And even then, you know, there's no news really of what's going on to the general population. But even then, they're starting to kick off. They're starting to lose their shit and be like a bunch of dickheads. But then they become even worse when the humans, the people working on translations and stuff, they misinterpret what the aliens are trying to say, and they think that they're saying weapon, or they see that as something malicious.
Yeah, let's not take away from the fact that I think you're missing a part there as well, right? That I think leads up to that stage. What makes it even worse is, do you remember the point where it's kind of nearly a real-world scenario they kind of bases on? There's a guy in America that does a podcast, a radio show, and I think he has a couple of other shows as well in America, and he's very Christian-orientated. He talks complete and utter shit. I mean, genuinely, he talks through his ass, and he was, as much as, Barack Obama... he used to smell of sulfur, etc., right? This guy was one of these kind of guys that would just basically flap his gums about everything. That who was the runner now with Donald Trump? Forgotten the name now.
Oh, I don't know. The runner-up. The lady girl? Hillary Clinton.
Hillary Clinton. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. So naturally, he was stating the fact, that she was dying and she was getting taken over by the devil. I mean, this guy was slapping his guns, right? And some people are listening to this whole shit. I mean, genuinely, as much as I wasn't a massive fan of either one, but people who were a massive fan of Donald Trump were listening to this guy's bullshit on a regular case, and Christians are lobbing themselves left, right, and goddamn centre into him, And if you look at the movie, they have nearly the same spectrum as this guy. He's doing a TV show or maybe a podcast, I'm not sure what, and he's literally one of the soldiers are listening to it, and lo and behold, he is fucking absorbing this horse shit that this guy was, what are they here for? They're gonna kill us. They're gonna be here. And he's going on a tangent in the movie, and you're like,
that's right,
that would happen so much in a real world scenario where you'd have radio shows, TV hosts, you'd have all these fucking people who would make the scenario 5 times worse. Some might be taking the piss, but some would be acting like a fucking preacher on a stand.
Stirring the shit pot. So.
Exactly. And what that occurs is that you make a scenario fucking 5 times worse. Instead of being a cool and collective, to be honest, nothing at that stage had occurred over, what was it, a couple of weeks, maybe even a month or two into the bracket of them being here. They then started to panic as a society, and then people are going to stir the shit pot, as you just mentioned, and cause then the part of one of the soldiers to go up into the ship, because every 45 minutes the ship would open. I don't think Dan went into that a little into the SpoilerCast. That he went up and then set the place to blow. Yet obviously they wouldn't have, because it must probably had as they did. The aliens kind of sensed there was something adrift in there.
Yeah, well, the aliens, as we mentioned, the aliens see time differently. They know what's going to happen, so they knew that their place was going to blow up. So someone was
fucking hell, yes. Wow, I didn't even see. Wow.
So they knew that was going to happen. They knew exactly how much time they had. That's why one of the aliens pushed them back before the bomb went off, just in the right time.
Wow, I didn't even see it.
They knew that. They knew what was going on, and that actually killed one of them. Because they named there's 2 aliens mainly that they were communicating with, and they named them Abbott and Costello. Abbott and Costello, which are 2 comedians, which makes it a little bit of a gag. Ha ha ha. And when she goes to meet up with the alien near the end alone, and she asks, "Where's Abbott?" Abbott in death process. Abbott is death process. I mean, he's dying because of the bomb, probably. Or he used up all his energy to fling him backwards. I don't know how exactly, because I thought there was a barrier there, so I wouldn't have thought they'd get affected by an explosion.
Yeah, but the symptom as well is the way he maybe absorbed most of his power.
I reckon something like I used up all his energy in a way to save them, so I'm assuming that's what it is. But even that can connect with her. She loses her daughter. They knew that Abbott was going to die, the alien. They knew he was going to die, but they went ahead with it anyway. So that kind of reflects with her. She's going to have a daughter that dies, but she went ahead with it anyway. It's just did she get anything from that? Did she take that from the aliens as well when she met them? It's so many questions there's, and that's one of the things I fucking love about this film. It's a good watch. And it leaves you with questions in your head. It leaves so many things open to interpretation. I fucking love films like that. That keeps you thinking long after the film's finished. It's
its own hypothetical question,
Yeah, exactly. So,
what really bids well for our show, because naturally we run one off every normal podcast.
we do indeed.
So
I think I have a feeling I know what the next hypothetical question is going to be in the next podcast. Paul's in charge of those, so.
Well, you see right now, Dan, right? Is that we'll lob one out a quick one here now. Yeah. Is that if you could see into the future and you knew you were going to die, how would you feel about that?
I'd make the most of it and see what I can do within that time.
Yeah, but could you actually, if you knew you could distort time as well to an element, would you try and trying to make your life exist longer? But you knew if you done it the right way and you passed away, that society would last longer as in the longer haul because of your death. Would you still die, or would you prevent your death because of your own self-being?
That would depend, really. That's another thing about it. It's like, do they change things as they go along so it suits them, or do they only see the future as is the future inevitable? Is there no way of changing it? It depends which way they're going with it. Because if there's no way of changing it, then you just have to write it out and just play along, kind of thing, and just try and enjoy yourself, I suppose. But if you could change it, then I don't know.
I'd believe there'd be some form of way of changing, because every life choice has a yes or a no. Yeah. Now, even though they know it's been a yes at that stage, if somebody knew the answer to the yes or the no, if they prevented that scenario from occurring, then the life would have changed running up into it, because they wouldn't have foreseen her telling the person. Yeah. So it gives life more of an option to say yes or no to. Yeah. So it does have the opportunity of doing it if the system corrupts itself, if you know what I mean. Like, it's every circuit has a full connection, and if you disorder that connection, it's going to end out, causing an effect. Yeah. And obviously, the effect in this stage would have been Lucy in the movie, because they could foresee the future as Lucy doing what she knew. But if she told. Yeah. Who's the guy playing Jeremy? What's the character's name for Jeremy Renner?
Ian.
Well, imagine now if she told Ian, "Hey, I'm foreseeing the future of our daughter Diane." Before now they've had sex and had the child. Yeah. He might have then gone, "No chance. I'm not having sex. I don't want you. I don't want all this." So it means the future now has been distorted, running forth. Yeah,
that's what I said at the start. If she didn't have this child, would that affect the outcome of the future? Would they be prepared for for whatever they need to be able to help the aliens in the future? It's like, you don't know. It's like,
no, you don't. No, it is something then you'd have to, instead of actually foreseeing it to an element, even though then she'd probably have another future future memory of what then would have occurred by her stating what she has. Yeah. Because I think whatever then would have been the answer, she would then have a future memory of what would have occurred, and then she might not have liked it, and then try to disorder that, that by possibly then trying to have sex with him, or then trying to have sex with maybe a different man that would maybe cause the child to come maybe contracted, because a human mind would then go around a different bracket than somebody looking in the right way to look at it, Do you know what I'm trying to get at? Like,
it depends really on the person, because at the same time, who are we to decide how the future pans out? Because we can choose, if we did have a choice, we can choose what outcome we can have by changing as we go along. But at the same time, it's only the best case scenario for that person making the decision. It's like, but at the same time, it's like, is it safe for one person to have that power, kind of thing?
But that's what I mean, is that can you imagine now, right? One person having that kind of power, right? Yeah. No person on this earth, as much as people like, I'll save world hunger, like a proper beauty pageant answer. That wouldn't occur in a real world scenario. The person would think of themselves, because that's what would happen. They would go, how can I make my life better first? Yeah. Because we've just learned as a society to be number one. That's it. You only think of me alone. Yeah. And the film's thing is, think of more. and think of the bigger picture.
Yeah,
and
that's what the alien says. It says weapon will open your mind or whatever like that. The weapon being the language and the psychic ability and stuff. Meaning, I think their language. That's another thing they say. They say when you learn different languages, your mind works differently. If you were to learn Japanese, your mind would work in a different way to someone who speaks English. And their language is so complex and stuff that would evolve our brains to probably behave like them. And I think that's what amplifies Louise's ability in the end, because she's the only one pretty much that's understanding the language fully. Yeah. And that kind of enhances her mind to be able to see the future clearly, which she ends up using then. Because
with the Japanese bloke, isn't it?
That's right, yeah. Because it's coming to the pinnacle point of the film where everyone's about to bomb these aliens or whatever, and nobody's working together. The aliens have pretty much failed, or so you think. And the main person who has the power is the Chinese, I think. And this is General Shang, played by Sima. I think I'm saying that right, Sima. He's been in a few things. Yeah, and he's got all the power. Basically, he's telling everyone, hold on to your information and don't share anything, keep it to yourself and all that. Basically, the opposite of working together. But she ends up calling him on his own personal phone and convinces him somehow to cut the shit, basically. We got to work together here. And then a little bit later on in the film, you find it goes to the future, where she meets him, and General Shang comes up to her and wants to meet her personally and thank her because she told him on that phone, on his personal phone, what he needed to hear to basically get everyone to work together. Yeah. And what I love about it, the information that General Shang gives her in the future, that is where present day Louise gets her information to be able to tell him. So General Shang tells him, I think it's something his wife said before she died. So
it was. I think it was. Didn't she show? He showed her a phone.
That's right. He showed her.
Thank you for the phone call.
Yeah.
And she goes, I don't have your number. Yeah. And she went, no, but you phoned me.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
She goes, why are you showing me this? And then she looks at the phone and he whispers in her ear, stating a certain quotes. Yeah. And she just looks back, and then she has the memory of that occurring, and she goes, I know how to sort it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's first of all, you called me on my personal number. I was like, I don't know what you mean. Yeah. And then he shows her his phone with his personal number on it for her to see it in the past. And then he whispers in her ear something that his wife said just before she died, so that when she tells him in the past, he'd be like, "Oh fuck, this girl means business. How the fuck could she possibly know that?" So that's how he listened to her in the past, and it's a lovely loop. That is. I think that's a beautiful bit of work. That is, it's confusing to explain.
And it was nice run up to the end. It was as well. Yeah, I mean, it was a nice cheeky wink to the end. Guys, I can't say enough to watch this movie. I mean, this is a fantastic movie throughout. If you love these kind of styles of movie where it leaves you wanting more and seeing how it occurs into the next, and looking look at how we would react in these kind of circumstances. Oh yeah, we would react this way. It leaves hypothetical questions over hypothetical questions. I mean, if you love that kind of style of movies, guys, we cannot state enough. Go out, watch this movie. I mean, it's now on Blu-ray. You've got, to be honest, you leave it long enough. If you live in the UK, it'll be in the next few months. It'll be on Sky. Yep. And I totally advise to be looking into these scenarios to watch this movie. It is top notch. Yep. And if we have to give it a mark out of 10, Dan, what would you be giving it?
I'd be giving it a solid 9 out of 10. I think.
I would have to agree with it. I was going to go for 8.5, but I think a 9's. Yeah, to be honest, the more we've talked about it, I think you asked me at the start of the show. Yeah. I enjoyed it, but I would give it maybe an 8.5. Yeah. But the more we've talked about it, the more I realised how much it has.
It's got so much
extra that. Yeah, totally. We've ended up making a podcast for near 40 minutes plus. Yeah. About it, and I think we've learned even more about ourselves watching it. Yeah, and I got it. Yeah, I think I have to give it a 9 myself.
Yeah, I may even come out of the closet after it. No.
God, no, damn it, random.
Yeah, no. It's just the way you said, oh, he's even changed our minds. I'm gay.
God damn it, that.
I know. God damn it, me.
You wouldn't tell both of us have actually got partners. Anyways, guys, if you want to get a hold of us on the DPCast Twitter page, go on to @DPCasters, capital D, capital P, capital C. Lob us some messages, lob us some likes, lob us some followers. If you want to listen to these podcasts, we are on YouTube. We will eventually be on iTunes. We're just working out some minor faults that we're running into at the moment. But at the same time as well is you keep following us, we'll keep pumping them out. Yep. So guys, we'll catch your ass in podcast 4.
I think it's something like that. And one last word about the film. If you're watching it for the first time and you're not too sure about it, give it a watch. Watch it all the way through. You might think, it's okay. I think the whole psychic thing's a bit wishy-washy. Watch it again. Because I think on the second time for me is when I found it gripped me the most. Because it was all present, all the information was there, and it just blew my mind the second time. So I'll leave it at that. That's Arrival. And, thank you for listening.
See you next week, guys.
Spoiler.